And again, if you missed it, my name is Kate with Scotland Marketing. Today, I'm going to go over print marketing with you. We're going to take a look at creating a flyer in Command, as well as taking a look at that listing presentation. If time allows, we can certainly take a look at different types of print marketing. If you have something specific you'd like to see, definitely drop it in the chat and let me know. Everyone will be muted for today's class. That just allows us to get through all of the material. But if you have questions throughout the class, definitely put those in the chat. I'll pay attention to that. And we should also have time at the end for questions, just in case I miss a question or skip over it for time purposes. So the first thing we want to do to get started is log into Command. So to get to Command, you're going to go to agent.kw.com. Once you're on there, it will have you sign in with your username and password. Username is not case sensitive. Your password will be. So make sure there's no spaces before or after, capitals or where they need to be, etc. Or you'll see an issue with logging in. But once you're in, your screen will look similar to mine. It may not look the same. The home screen here is semi-customizable, so you can adjust it slightly. So yours may just look slightly different. Moving along though, we want to take a look at designs for today's class. So if you're not sure where to find designs, you can hover over these little applets on the left-hand side and they'll tell you what they are. Or you can hit the red and white KW. And that's going to expand that bar so that you can see all of those applets along with what that specific applet is for. So we're going to take a look at designs. Looks kind of like a paintbrush with a canvas behind it. And this is another place that yours may look slightly different than mine. So these are previous designs that I have created within my Command account. So if you've never created a piece of marketing through Command, you may not have anything here, and that's totally okay. For today, though, what we want to take a look at is creating a design, and we're going to be looking at print. Now, if you'd like information on the other categories, we do have classes that go over those, and so you can certainly jump on one of those calls and check those out, or check our YouTube channel. Now we're just giving it a second to load here. Now, once we are in the print, you'll notice that we're under templates. So from templates, it's going to give you all of the different categories and subcategories for the different design templates that they have. Now, that's not to say that if you see a coming soon graphic or flyer that you would like to use for an open house, you cannot completely customize that and make it used for whatever you'd like. You can absolutely do that. This is just a design space for you to get ideas and create your own marketing. So of course, if you like a design, definitely use it for whatever you'd like. Totally up to you. Before we jump into actually creating and editing the design, I want to take a look at the assets section of designs with you. So we're going to click on that. Now from there, you're going to notice on the left-hand side, we have two different categories here. We have Keller Williams Realty. And if we expand that, we have colors and fonts, images, text, logos, elements, videos, and files. These are the Keller Williams International provided assets. So if we click on colors and fonts, it's going to give you the KWR provided palette. So their color scheme. It's also going to give you some various fonts that you can use. If we take a look at images, you're going to find some various like KWRI provided stock photos that you can use. And there's even different folders. So if you're looking for house exteriors, you can come in here. If you're looking for holiday photos, you can also come in here. These will also show when we're actually creating our design, which is why we're taking a look at these. Next is text. Their assets for text is just the ownership statement that each office is independently owned and operated. Next, we have logos. So for logos, these are going to be the KWRI provided logos. So you'll see that they have like Keller Williams University. They do have some generic Keller Williams logos. Excuse me. As well as luxury. Miscellaneous is going to be your NAR and equal housing opportunity. I'm not sure. I don't think I added this one, but for whatever reason, there's a new one here and there's nothing in it yet. So this may be coming soon because this folder did not used to be here. Next is elements. So elements are kind of like symbols or icons that you may use on a regular basis. So they have email, website, location, things like that. They don't have any videos. And then their files are going to be the design and style addendum, which appear to be not working right now. It's always fun when we're in command because you never know what is going to be new or not working because they're making changes. So bear with it if you ever run into that. Next is my assets. So this is a great place for you to come and create your own assets. Then your assets are going to be images, colors, fonts, things like that you're going to use often. And having them in your assets makes it a lot easier to use them versus trying to find the same color you used last time or pulling in your photo every time you want to use it or things like that. So that's the reason that they have assets. It makes your design time a lot faster. So you can create your own color scheme if you've branded yourself, your team, or something like that, and you like to be consistent with that, you can create a color palette. They're real easy. As you can see, you just make one and then you start deciding on the colors. And you just drag this until you find the colors you want. And then you can name it or you can delete it. As you can see, I do this a lot, so I have a bunch of different ones. Next is fonts. If you like to be consistent with your fonts and you have a font that you love and like to use often, you can add it to your own assets so that you can use that. You can also upload fonts or find them on the web. All you do is kind of search through these, find one that you like, and then you just turn it on. So hit that little button and add, and it will go ahead and add that to your fonts. Next is going to be images. So from here, you can add your headshot, or if there is a photo that you use often for various pieces of marketing, you can add those here. The great thing is if you'd like to remove your background as well, like this one here of Scott, you can simply click on the photo that you've uploaded and remove the background, and it's going to do that for you. And as you can see, we now have a photo of Scott with no background. So super easy. You can also create folders if you're working with a team or multiple agents. You can upload different folders with agents or however you'd like to do that. To upload, you just click upload image, find it from your computer, Google, etc., and add it. Next is text. And I'm not ignoring questions. We're going to come to those in just a second. We're going to finish going through assets and then we'll look at those. Text. This is going to be different pieces of text you might use often as well in those graphics. So if you're putting your branded app link on your marketing all the time and you don't want to remember that code, you can add that as a text asset. Same for your phone number, website, anything like that. So just think of it as things that you want to use often in your marketing that you don't want to have to type out every time. Next is logos. So you can add your own logos. This is where you'd want to add your market center specific logos. As you can see, I have a whole bunch of different offices. You could also add, if you're using QR codes for your app or things like that, you can add those into logos or images to where you could easily pull in those QR codes for your flyers or graphics or things like that. If you're not sure where to find your market center specific logos, that's going to be on kwconnect.com. Once you're on KW Connect, you'll go to resources and down to marketing. And then we'll go to logos and branding. And if we scroll down just a little bit, we will see that there's a search bar where we can type in a specific number. So I'm just gonna put in a random number today. We can then preview, make sure that's the correct logo that we're looking for, and we can download. Now, once we've downloaded that, we do need to, it'll have you extract all of that. And then from there, we should be able to open that folder. And you'll notice that there is a few different folders within that. The primary two that I look at are these top two, so black and white and the CMYK. If we take a look at that, you'll notice we have some various colors and format options that we can pull from. We go back and we go into the CMYK, we have the same thing. So various colors and formats. So if you're pulling this logo in, it does have a white square background behind it. If you're pulling this one in, it does not. It's going to be transparent, and you're not going to see that white behind it. And once we have those, we can add those to our assets as well. So if I do, I think that was the office I pulled. Upload. Computer. I can add all of those. And then I can add more and pull in those other colors. Now I have 7 files selected and I can upload those. And now I have all of my logos. So no matter what type of marketing I'm creating, no matter what the background is, I have a logo that's going to work great. So sometimes on a darker background, you can't see the gray lettering. So I may need a white one. So this is a great way to have those handy. You can easily pull them into your designs. Elements, the same as for KWRI. If you have symbols or logos or things like that that you're using, maybe you have the same ones as KWRI, but different colors. You can pull those in. If you have any videos or if you have any files that you'd like to use or you're using often, you can add those as well. So those are our assets. Before we jump into our templates, I'm just going to take a quick look at the question. So how do you use different fonts? Well, already selected the template. So we'll take a look at changing the fonts when we're on a template, when we grab one. David, if you're seeing an error, email our support team. We may need to take a look at your account to see what's going on. So I'm going to drop that in here. Or actually, I sent it to you directly, but let me drop it in the chat as well, just in case anyone needs it. That's our support email. Any error, troubleshooting, questions, whether you just need support on something, feel free to email us. That's what we're here for. We are here to help. So great resource. But let's take a look at the design. So we're going to create a flyer first. So we can create a bunch of different kinds, whatever we want. We could take a look at creating a coming soon, for sale, open house, whatever you'd like. You also have buyer stuff, lead generation. I like the holiday ones because you can find cute little graphics in there. But we're going to take a look. Let's just create a open house one. So we're already in it. From there, we can take a look at the size of the designs. So if you're creating something to print, you may not want to click on social stories and find one of those designs because it may work, but it's not going to work exactly the same. The sizing is going to be a little bit different. If you're creating door hangers, you want to be looking at the specific door hangers that are available. So we're going to take a look at flyers today. Keep it simple. And we're just going to go with this open house one on the very end. It says you're invited. So let's go ahead and grab that one. We're going to hit use. And from there, we are brought into the WeBrand editor. So this is where we edit our designs. So we'll just take a quick look at the different features in here. So up top, we have file, version history, and it's still loading. So that's why I'm not clicking on anything just yet. Sometimes it can take a second. We have undo and redo. we can name our file. Let's say 620. This one is the ChatGPT and more. This is to collaborate with someone else. Download, order prints, and then share. And then you have your done when you're all finished. Now over on the left, we have templates. That will take us back to the templates that we were looking at. You have images. Now within images, you have stock photos. You have workspace. These are those KWRI provided assets that we were just taking a look at. So it is a little different than stock photos. Workspace is going to be those KWRI ones. So you'll see the same folders we saw, as well as those same images. We then have my assets. This is where I can find my photos. If I forgot one, I can easily go ahead and add an image, create a folder, and add that. So not a problem if we didn't already do it. Then we have text. We have add new text, which will allow you to add text that's not currently on the template. Banners, which are kind of just more fancy versions of text. They look more like kind of a sticker. You have workspace, which is those KWRI provided assets again. And then you have mine. Logos, same thing. You have the KWRI and mine. Elements, you can look for stock photos, search different things. You can also use KWRI and mine. Then we have the KWLS. So this is where you can search for listings. So we are going to take a look at this today because we want to add our listing photos to our open house invite. So if we were doing this, we can start searching. The easiest way to search is by MLS number. If you know the MLS and you have it, that's going to be the fastest way to find it. You can also search by any of these, but this is pulling from every MLS. So the MLS number is going to be the quickest. I don't have one, so I'm just going to pull a listing. Give me 1 second. Let me find one real fast. Find one in a second. We'll just grab a random one. Let's see, this isn't going as quick as I hoped it would, so we'll just go ahead and type one. Sorry about that. We'll just do Main Street and find one. If you're doing an open house for someone and it's not your listing, you should have permission to do this. Always check with your compliance broker, everything like that before you're advertising someone's listing. Oh, I just grabbed this one. I'm not actually doing anything with these, so you should be able to pull any listing now. Yes. It will pull it directly from the MLS. So as long as it's active, it should come up. I don't think the one I was looking for is coming up, but let's go ahead. We're just going to grab this one right here. We're going to hit select. And as you can see, it literally pulls everything from the MLS. So we're getting the photos. And if we click over here on listing details, it's also going to give us all of those details. Makes it super easy to create a design because I'm not having to go back and forth between the system and this one. I'm going to just pull everything in. So let's say we want to put this photo here. You can click this double arrow and it will replace the image. Since I'm clicked on it, it will replace that photo. Now that sizing is a little bit strange, so we can always zoom in. Make sure we have a good look here. Hit done. And now we have that perfectly in that little box. Over here, if we want to do the same thing, let's see. We'll just grab, that's the same one. We'll just grab this one here. And also resize that as well. Make sure it's perfect, hit done. Now we have our photos replaced. Now we can start editing everything else. So We can grab the address and we can swap that from the listing details. So same thing, the double arrow, if you are clicked on that part of the design, it will replace that information. So if we go ahead and click that, swaps it out. This is where it gets a little tricky. This box here has property details. It has bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, and built-in. They're all on separate spaces here. So if we were to replace that, it would replace the entire thing. So in some of these situations, it is easier to just type. I don't know what I just did. Here we go. So in this instance, it's going to be easier for us to just double click and edit our text. So we would want to change the bedroom. So it's 4 bedrooms. This one has 3 bathrooms. You can also click on the box that you're wanting to edit and hit the typewriter up here. It will also pull up a box. It does make it a little bit easier, but you can do either or. There's 2 ways to edit that. So if we do built-in 1902 and we hit save, it's going to edit that information. So a couple ways to edit that there. Listed as, let's see. This is another one. So if you replace that whole thing, it's going to replace all of it, not just the number. So we would want to edit just that section. I'm going to leave it because I'm not super worried about it for this, but that's just kind of what I like to point out. You don't want to just replace it because it will replace everything. Your description should also be over here where you can easily edit that, or if you just want to make up your own, whatever you want to put there. See it for yourself, open house, and then of course you want to edit your time. So if we were doing that this weekend, we would do June. And this weekend is the 23rd. And if we're doing 11/2, you could leave this on there, take it off if that's something you want to do. And then of course you want to replace your logo. So again, we want to swap this out. So if we were to use this red and white one, you're not going to see that. So you want to be mindful of which logo you're using. And then we can edit our name. I'm going to do Scott. I don't have, well, I could just put Scott's team. If you don't have a team, you can obviously take that off or just put your brokerage name. Website, you'd want to edit all of that information. So oops. And also guys, you can zoom in. So if this is hard for you to see, you can certainly zoom in. Oh, let's do. And then let's do Scott. All right, and now what you can see is that box is it has a lot more text in it than it did before. So you'd want to stretch that out to where it's on one line. Now this example that I pulled for the open house didn't have an agent photo. Let's say that we wanted to add that. We could delete this. We could move this down and over. So just pointing out that you guys can edit these however you want. It's a lot of dragging and dropping. You can double click and drop multiples at the same time, however you want to do that. But let's say that this doesn't have Scott's photo on it. It doesn't have a spot for an agent photo and we want to add that. I like to point out if you click off of the design totally 100%, like over here in the space, if you click this frames box up top, you can pick a frame and that will do the same thing as like it will allow you to place a photo in that perfect little circle. So if we just make this a little bit smaller, drag it down here where it fits good. Let's say we want to make this go to the right and align those. And then we want to drop in Scott's photo. Now that we have a frame, if we go back to our images and we do replace, it's going to put Scott's photo perfectly in that little circle. So if there's not a place for a photo and you want to add one, you can. You could also just click on the photo and resize it. But if you want it to look a little nicer in a circle or a rounded square or something like that, you can certainly do that as well. Once we are all done with this and we've edited everything we want, you can then print it if you want to have them printed, or you can download it and just print it in Office, or at a local print office that you have. To print, you're going to want to do PDF standard or PDF for printing. PDF for printing is going to give you those plead lines, so it will at least show you if anything's kind of getting cut off or is going to be, you know, really close to the edge. So once you download that, though, it will download to your computer. You can see it over here really quick, and now it has popped up here. And for whatever reason, that other photo is not showing up. So let's try and see if it does it on this one. So every once in a while, the man does some silly stuff. If you're seeing something like that, we just generally recommend trying to download it in a different format, and usually it will work. But if it doesn't and you're still running into issues, let us know. They do seem to be making some changes to designs lately, so we are seeing a little bit more, you know, hiccups, but I'm sure they're just working out some kinks. Once we are all done with our design, though, we do have the other option to share that. If you wanted to have like a link to where people could click on it or something like that, you could certainly share the link. You want to make sure it's on anyone with the link. Happy. And then if you were to post that or share that, they would be able to see that design the same as you would. Now they cannot edit this. This is just them being able to view it. And then we hit done. And that will allow us to save that design. If we need to come back to it and edit it, it's now in my designs under my projects. So I can quickly come back in and edit that. Let's see. Stephanie, see if you download it in another format, if it does the same thing. If it does, let me know. We can probably take a look at that as well. Let's see. Someone asked for the recording. The recording is not emailed out. However, you can access that on our YouTube channel. It's up within 24 hours, but generally by end of day. Did I just close command? I did. Any other questions that I missed? The rocket, I think you're talking about the ChatGPT rocket, right? So the rocket is a paid for. So I don't have that online to be able to use it. It is a subscription, but it will help you with writing and things like that for your marketing. Let's see. If you want to post it to social media, you certainly can. I would recommend downloading it as a JPEG or PNG, so you can post it, because the PDFs are not going to post it easily. All right, we're gonna move on to the listing presentation real quick. So we're gonna be back in designs and go to create a design. From there, we want to go back to print. And this one will show up again under listing. Now there is also one under the buyer for buyer presentation. So you can certainly come in here and take a look at those as well. They're very similar in the fact that they're edited and created the same way, just have slightly different information. So within listing presentation, as you can see, there are a few options. There are 5 different templates. You'll notice if you hover over it, it has like a little number and pages, so 9+ pages it says, and it will start flipping through those pages. So you can kind of take a look at them before you click into it. But that's going to tell you how, like, that it has more than one page, no matter how many pages it is. But then you just pick the one that you like. I'm going to go ahead and go with the second one today. And we're going to hit use. Now, I like to mention before we jump into this, I'm not going to go through editing every single page of the listing presentation, but we're going to take a quick look at all of the pages. They're very similar in editing as the other design. It's the same design space and everything is kind of edited the same. But we're going to take a look at all the pages. So once we're in here, you'll notice down here on the right, we have pages. And if we click on that, it's going to show us we have 29 pages, and it's going to allow me to look through all of those pages. I can close that again if I want to and reopen it. From there, you also have 3 little dots where you can duplicate the page or delete the page. So this is where you get to customize this. So just because there are 29 pages does not mean you need all 29 pages. In fact, there are some pages you're going to want to remove. For example, the second page here is instructions. These are instructions for you, not your potential client. You don't want them to see this. So this is something that's telling you, hey, you want to make sure you edit this, customize it that best serves you and your business and your specific needs of your client. So you just want to make sure that everything in here that is to be edited is edited. You don't want to be sending a listing presentation that has someone else's name, logo, or anything else like that. So you want to make sure you kind of go through these with a fine-tooth comb and make sure that they are updated for your information. So this page here, I'm going to go ahead and delete it. Now I could keep it and make it something of my own, but I don't need it. So I'm going to go ahead and delete it. And it's going to just simply remove that. Now, the first page, that's up to you if you want to keep this. I don't think it really serves a purpose in this, and this could be your front page. But it's up to you how you want to do that. Again, these are your listing presentations. So you could come in here, edit the client's name. So same as before, we can either double click or use the typewriter. So I'm going to do a John Smith today. Hopefully I don't have a John Smith in the class. Compliments of Scott Leroy. And again, if you don't like how that put it on 2 lines, you can certainly adjust it. Photo is the same as the other one that we were in. You want to go to My Assets and swap that. Now, if you don't like how small that photo is in there, you can certainly double click and adjust the photo. Once you have it cropped how you want, you hit done and it will put that right there. We can start editing the other information over here. So ooh, I cannot type when I am teaching. Yeah, we're going to leave the number for now. Next is we want to replace that logo. So you always want to replace the logos. Never want to leave the DBA. So now that we're in logos, go to My Assets. This is the office we were doing today. So we're going to hit replace. Replace just puts it in that perfect little box. If you wanted to add this somewhere else, you can certainly do that again by adding and then resizing however you want it. If you wanted it up here instead, whatever. You can swap out the photo if you'd like. And then we can keep going. So our next page, it's just going to go over some of the information in here. Then we have the property and some information about it. What's happening in the area. Comparable properties. As you can see, some of this you could remove or leave. It's again up to you. So this is your needs come first. Then we have the process. So these are steps that can be edited. If you don't have additional steps, I would definitely remove these extra boxes if you don't have anything to add. You don't want those extra boxes just sitting there. They look kind of funny. So this is what I mean when you want to kind of go through this with a fine-tooth comb. You want to make sure that anything that's removed or edited is done. Your custom marketing plan. So make sure this is in alignment with whatever you're doing in your business. and you have a plan for that. Finding your buyer. Best in class promotional assets. So this goes over some of the things that you can offer. Your media plan. So if you don't do these things, or if only half of this is something you do, you want to make sure you update that to match whatever you do for marketing. Strategic promotion. So again, edit this to follow whatever you provide in your business plan. Your open house strategy. It's in the details. They used to have the logo on like every page. They kind of did away with that, so it's a little bit nicer. There's not as many places to plug that in anymore. But then there's more information about you, the agent. You'll want to make sure you swap all of that out. Your name and everything like that. The numbers. So this is if you're a brand new agent and you don't have any numbers, a lot of agents just getting started are able to kind of piggyback off of the market center as a whole. So definitely check with your office and see if they can help you come up with some numbers there. Generally, they can. Credentials and awards. These are for KWRI. Leading the industry. And then if you don't have any past sales and you don't want to put this, you can certainly remove it. So that's kind of one of those optional pages. You can also at the end decide not to, if you don't want to delete it because you want to use it later on, you can also choose to not print that page or download that page. So I'll show you that at the end too. More portfolio, featured listings, some testimonials from your clients. Your promise. Selling safely. So they have quite a few pages here. The bottom line. Your app, so that you can use that. You can also update your link here. So again, I have that in my assets. So I can quickly plug that in without having to look it up or remember what it is. And then some more information about me. So if you wanted to also include your photo back here, if you wanted to put a QR code as well as your app link, you could certainly do that. Whatever you want to add back there. And then I deleted a page, so we only have 28 pages now. So once I have this all edited how I want, I've deleted and removed pages that I don't need, I can go ahead and download that. Now this is where I can change it if I want to PDF or printing. This is also where I can decide if I don't want a page to print. So if I don't want to print that front page or these portfolio ones, I can certainly remove them. So, and I clicked the wrong box. So if I want to remove these couple of pages, I can go ahead and do that. And then when I download it, those pages are not included. So if you want to keep them because at some point you'd like to use them, you can certainly leave them there and just not print them. Another thing I like to share when I'm doing the listing presentation is the share, which we took a look at on the last one, but it's a little nicer with the book. So share. So let's say you went to your listing presentation, everything went great, you handed them the packet. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really good about losing paper, especially like if it's something I might need. So this makes it super handy for after your meeting, your listing presentation. You can send them an email saying thank you, whatever, and you can also copy this link to their listing presentation and you can send it over. And it sends it over as like a digital booklet for them to view. So again, just super easy for them to check out later on. They changed the format of this a little bit. Let's see. Let me just click on these. It used to just come like as a booklet, but maybe they've adjusted that. That's not what I want. Anyways, we can go ahead and view that. And as you can see, it has it as a nice little booklet. So I can just switch through the pages and look at those. It makes it easy. So if you're like me, and not good with paper, that's a great alternative. They cannot edit this when it's sent to them. Again, it is just for them to view. Okay, that is our listing presentation though. Let me just take a look at questions. If there's another type of marketing you'd like to see created, go ahead and drop in the chat too. We can take a quick look. We do have some time left. So take a look at some extra stuff if anybody wants. Let's see. So if you do a CMA through your MLS, you can't download it into this. However, you could use the information and plug into this. Also, if you have like a screenshot or an image and you'd like to include that instead, let's come up here for a second and I'm going to duplicate this page. If you wanted to add your own like photo or something, I'm going to delete that. If you just wanted a blank page where you could include like a screenshot of the CMA that you did, you could add in a photo of it. You'd add it just like any other photo. See if I have, we'll just download this real quick. So let's say this was the photo you're looking to add to it. You can certainly do it that way, and just add that photo into your presentation. So that would be a workaround, but you can't physically add that into it. Edit page 20. I may have just messed this up. This one. So this is where you would use the KWLS and pull in the listing information. So you could pull in the photos and things like that. If you had past homes, you could pull them up on here and add them in. So Main Street. So it's kind of the same as the open house one. We'll just grab this one since it has a photo. Same thing, you would just edit all of the information to pull all of that in. You could use the listing details again if you had it, and pull all of that into each little box. And of course, if you don't have 6, you could also delete half of them. And just have 3. So, I don't have a QR code created for my, I think I have Scott's handy. So if I wanted to delete this and add my QR, and if you guys need a QR code made, you can always email us. We're happy to make those for you. Let's see. Here we go. This is his website, but if this was my app QR, I could do the same thing. And it looks like it's just taking a second. Oh, there it goes. Now they're both in there. But then I could just apply that QR code. That way, if they have this in front of them, they could just scan that. I could say, download my app here or something like that, right above it. So if I want to add some text, and go add, I could do subtitle. And then once I have that, I can adjust the size, the font, the text. So if I wanted to change the way that it looked by the text, I could do that here. Let's go with this one. Not that you'd want to use that one, but just for an example. And then you could just throw that here. So I didn't really go over that earlier, but that's how you change your font. I know someone had asked that. If you want to change any of that, you can do that here. And pick any of them. And then if you have your own assets, you can switch that as well. All right, next question. How do you get to this platform? Do you mean command? If you do, that is going to be agent.kw.com, and we are under designs. If you guys need the QR code created for you, just email our support email. It's support@scotlandrhinemarketing.com. We just need a URL, so the full URL, the HTTPS, in order to create a QR code for you. We can send that right over. So we can create an open house flyer. We can send that to a printer to print. You can print it through command directly. We have the option to do that, or you can download it and print it in your office or at a local company. So however you'd like to do that. Once we are all done though, we hit done. The great thing about this is this is, let's say this is for a specific listing. If I want to edit this, or if I want to make a copy for the next listing, without making edits to the original, I can certainly make a copy and then make edits to that new one so that I have one for each, just in case I ever need it. So super easy there. We have 12 minutes left. If you are not having any questions or there's nothing else I can help you with, go ahead and jump off. I'm going to go ahead and stop record.